the first Cars album versus the first Boston album, the better debut. They're essentially greatest hits records in and of themselves for debut albums. Joe, any knee-jerk band that you would give, like, early on?
Debut, I mean...
In terms of those two records, is there one that you favor?
I would say Boston, I think, as far as... If you're talking about rock airplay, you know, like the old AOR... In
terms of classicness.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I think Boston...
Boston, obviously the more guitar-driven record, but then again, Elliot Easton is...
Brilliant.
I just saw Elliot Saturday. He played at the charity thing I did, and he said so much in such a little space on those songs, you know. So it's hard when you A/B it. It's harder than you think off the top. Of
I got to listen to the first Cars record again because, you know, I mean, there's those debuts are standards, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, but Boston, that's one of those bands that you don't think of a lot in terms of like the classic rock bands of the 70s and 80s, but hit after hit after hit.
First record, I think, is a diamond record. I think it's over 10 million.
10 million, yeah.
Easily. It's just insane. So we'll have some fun with that on Thursday. Before we go to the calls, people know you are also a massive guitar collector and have a crazy collection. I saw on social media you responded to a tweet or something from Jim Irsay, who was on this show about a week ago.
Yeah,
Irsay was on because I went to his thing in Vegas when he does his collection and all that.
Yeah,
and I saw it.
He brings like Kenny Wayne Shepherd and it's an all-star band and it's free.
I think Johnny Lang did it, and Kevin Cronin did it. He had Stephen Stills there the year I was there. Billy Gibbons did it. So he should plug you into some of that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was he's going around buying up stuff and you're buying up stuff and he wants to buy your collection or what?
No, so the story was it was just a joke that like the rule number one in social media, don't joke because not everybody gets the joke. So Guitar World posted a story about an interview that Jim had done where he says that he turned down $1 billion for his guitar collection and his collection of antiquities. Now he's got like copies of the Constitution and
I've seen it,
like Abraham Lincoln's chair.
I know.
It's crazy rare. It's a very eclectic collection, and he's got like Gilmore Strat and the drum kit from Ed Sullivan.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd played that Strat on stage the night I saw it.
Yeah, and which is cool. Like the stuff gets out there and it gets used. So I just tweeted back, not at Jim so much, but just as a joke. It's like, well, if Jim turned down $1 billion from some guy in Dubai, have your guy call me.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be so keen to turn that down.
What is the latest addition to your collection?
Guitar wise, I think the last big one that I bought, I got Norm Harris from Norm's Rare Guitars. I'm actually wearing his sweatshirt now, but he had one mint 1950 Fender Broadcaster left from his collection, and I bought that. And it's a really staggeringly cool piece of Fender history. I mean, it goes back to 1950, and it essentially looks like a Telecaster. I mean, it is a Telecaster. And you realize that how right Leo Fender got this thing right off the bat. I mean, it's the first year he made them. Nothing's changed. It's a Telecaster. They make them today. I mean, you know, so, you know, I'm really big into that kind of stuff. And I'm a custodian. All this stuff, the 500 guitars I have, the 500 amps, all of this is going to go to somebody else one day. You know what I mean? So I'm just a custodian. My job is to play them and look at them and take
Do you take them on the road? The really high-end ones?
I take a bunch of them on the road, yeah.
So that new one that you got, what's the value of that?
It's about $225,000.
Okay. Will you take that on the road?
No, I have other ones that are beat up that go on the road.
Right.
So.
Right.
You know, the mint stuff, the stuff that's like so preserved. My ego's not that big where I'm like, well, I'm just going to play it because my music's this important. It's like, no, this guitar has been perfectly preserved for 70 years. Go play something that's beat up, or you know, it's like
your guitar tech must be like, God, I can't imagine.
He is in charge of just a tick over $1 million worth of gear between the amps and the guitars.
Gosh.
But you know, we the way I look at it, it's like when I was playing guitars that were less expensive, I never dropped or broke one of those. So the protocols are in, you know, place.
You don't ever do that thing that I see some people do where they throw the guitar to the tech who's in the wings?
No, but Tom Kiefer used to throw vintage guitars around in the 80s. Like he would throw like vintage Tellys and Les Pauls around to his tech. I mean, there's video of it, which is which is great. You know, Hank
A lot of
Williams.
pressure on that tech.
Well, Hank Williams Jr. used to throw around a 58 Les Paul. It's probably worth $300,000. He just would throw it to his tech. You know, it's like, I don't know about that. My catalog is so vast and different that I need the right tool for the job. You know, if I need a Les Paul and a Marshall for Black Country Communion, that's what I'm going to play. If I need a Stratocaster and a Fender amp, that's what I'm going to play for the blues gigs. You know what I mean? So I try to pick the right tool for the job, you know, so it sonically sounds somewhat legitimate to me. So there's not one favorite. I do have a fire drill. I can get six of my favorites out of the house if the fire comes up the canyon.
Just your 6 favorite kids.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but
and we talked about. So I'm not going to give away where Joe lives, but I've been to Joe's house, not when he owned it, but the previous owner.
That's right.
Was a good friend of mine. I won't even say. I'll leave it alone. But anyway, I've been to the house.
Yeah.
And Joe has an extraordinarily steep driveway.
Yes, I do.
So if you're going to try to get those guitars,
yeah, oh yeah,
you're dying on the hill.
Yeah,
and dying on the hill.
And the topography of my house really is the best theft deterrent because to get
it's like Alcatraz.
When I moved in there in 2015, I didn't have maybe half of as many guitars as I have now, and it took me 5 days to get the gear up there, you know. And so anybody who wants to rob the house, if you can back a truck up there, which you can't, it's going to take you days to steal it all, you know.
No doubt.